The difficulty with the new jib is, because of its shorter foot, we want to sheet it further inboard. And unfortunately, we can't build the boat any narrower, so we've had to sort of develop systems. You know, the first time I ever sailed with the new jib, we tied a piece of string with a block on to the tow strap position to try and pull it further inboard. Everybody's need for speed and has caused the boat to be fitted out so much better, with better gear, more easy to operate at all times. Whereas before, you tended to just, for example, your jib tracks, you had them on a plunger track, never move them unless it got really windy. Now you're playing them all the time upwind. Kickers, everybody wants to put more kicker on, everybody wants to put more rig tension on. Your rig tension is another classic example. You know, nobody ever touched the rig tension previously, and now you're playing it according to the wind strength. Chris's boat that we've got here, we're developing some what we call pods, which are just mouldings that are going to be bolted on the inside edge of the cockpit to allow the jib cars to come even more inboard.
It's probably fair to say that the fit out of this boat is driven by the new jib in many respects. Is that right?
Certainly, with Chris it is, yes. And I suppose we're using it as a bit of a guinea pig, because should it work, then the pod system will allow anybody to bolt these pods on and mount the tracks even further inboard, which I certainly think will be more efficient. Now, we're in a bit of a grey area because we haven't actually sailed the boat with them yet. But that's always been the aim, to get sheeting further inboard with more control. This will do that, it'll be much better, definitely. But we have to give it a go and see how it goes.
How's Chris been different to any of the other clients that you've worked for?
Well, Chris, I've known Chris for a long time, and he never has the same as anybody else. That's just the way he is. He loves all to have everything to hand and everything to work. Personally, I think sometimes you can go too far, because you end up spending your time fiddling around rather than just sailing the boat. But everyone to their own, and this is what he wants. I mean, there are certain things he wanted that we managed to persuade him not to have yet, shall we say, because it would just be, I think, too much. So he has climbed down a little bit on some of the things he wanted, but at the end of the day, it's his boat, and we're trying to accommodate him with what he wants.
First Flying 15s was wandering down to RYA Dinghy Yacht Club and wanting to sail the largest fleet in the area, which happens to be Flying 15s. Was made most welcome, so ordered one, and that was it. And that was probably in about 1988, 89, somewhere around there. This one will be my 7th. I'd done the circuit and done a lot of the racing and sailed it overseas and wanted to sail a different boat. So I then went into sailing. I had lasers and a variety of other boats at the same time, RS 400s, and then went into bigger boats. So I went into 1720s, Beneteau 34.7, and a variety of other classes just to try them out, JAT and a variety of different boats. And also I had a yacht built as well, and then went off sailing. Spent most of my time for a couple of years sailing different locations in the world, so I didn't really then race for a period of time. But then got bored of that, and then decided that I'd like to get back into sailing again and racing. And I had a good friend called David, the editor, and we decided we'd sail together. So I'd crew for him for 18 months, trying to campaign for the Worlds in Ireland. We were fortunate enough to qualify for the team. I had a great time doing it. Absolutely loved the Flying 15, and especially for sailing it on Windermere.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
what you want.
It's not scaring me at the moment because it's just exactly what I've come from in my D1.
Yeah.
The same process.
I mean,
Yeah, but then you were shouting about that, weren't you?
Yeah.
That got around your feet as well.
What's recently come to the fleet is the fact that the sheeting position of the jib is far more inboard. So people have been fitting barbarollas or little units onto the track that brings that position inboard, but you also need to be able to position it both in and outboard with a barbarolla or other mechanisms. So what I've done is I've designed a pod that fits on the side of the tank, which enables you to, instead of barber hauling the jib position inboard, you actually barber haul it outboard. Doing a variety of drawings and sketches of how I might use two tracks and control the right lines between the two tracks, and barbarolla in or barbarolla out, and how one track interacts with another one, and from there work then onto an actual pod design, looking at measuring boats and how that will work. So now that design effectively is being made into a plug. We're then making a epoxy version of it, and then when the epoxy version we're sure it works and it's fitted, then we'll make a carbon version which will then hopefully be ready for the show.
I mean, obviously, the putting the plinth in, which I know you thought looks big, but actually I think it's proportioned in the boat. It's looking good. Now this is only a dummy one that we've had made out of the mould. The eventual boat will have a carbon fibre one, which will look quite tidy. So basically what we've done is we've fastened the inner track in right at the front of the to give you that extra further inboard sheeting position, led back to incorporating the cleat mount as well, rather than putting a separate mount on. And then we've put a second track further up. So at the moment most people barber haul it in. Well, we're actually barber hauling out. So what happens is, as the sheet, if you let the barber right off, then the sheet keeps on its inboard position. The barber then, you can pull it further outboard if the wind gets windier and you want to come outboard, or go on a fetch or a reach, two sail reach. You can then bring your sheeting position further outboard. So you've got all that position covered by the sake of two lines. The car control, which is going to be here, and the barber hauler, which controls the thwartsheets movement, and the track looks after the fore and aft movement. Now obviously it's a bit complicated, and this is just a bit of a mock-up. All these are just stuck on with double-sided tape because I've been playing around with the distances of the track and where we can mount all the cleats.
We're here!
We're here. We're still at it. The carbon pods will arrive on Wednesday. So once we get those on, well, we know where they're going to go, so that's not an issue. It's just getting everything else finished, but that's all right. The plan is to get the hull. We'll have the rest of the fittings on, and then the hull will get weighed on Monday night. Good.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday morning, first thing, we'll put the keel on, get it on the trailer, put the keel on, and then we can finish off around the hull keel joint.
It looks really, because I'm a fussy bugger as well, it's not only does it work practically and well, Phil's made sure of that, but I think it also looks good as well. It looks the part, and I think with those pods on it will make it a bit different and a bit unique, so looking forward to Thursday. If you don't have 7s and 3s in it, you might as well forget it. So every boat I've had, most of them have had the 3 and 7 in the sail number. So this one is 4073. Therefore, that will make it fast. but just have fun. The biggest thing achievement is to have fun. But there again, got on the water, and as you know, I am slightly aggressive. So I'm not quite sure where to pitch it, but it'd be good to qualify for the British team to go to the Flying 15 Worlds in Fremantle in Australia next year. That's a big target for this year, and it's just spend a lot of time on the water as much as we can. And as I say, have fun, enjoy it, and have a good time.
On 0, yeah?
Yeah.
So that's calibrated, and we're going to use that rope to weigh the boat. 122.2. 138 minus 122.2 equals 15.8. The boat, it needed 2 correctors, each weighing 7.9 kilos. So they've now been bolted into the console and marked. Each corrector has to be marked with its weight and the number of it and put onto the certificate. All the fittings are done. We've just been finishing off all the nice edges of the rope and things like that and giving it a clean. So now the plan's to get it outside and put the mast up and just set it up outside ready, so that when it gets to Alexandra Palace it'll all be just a matter of putting it together.
So 23 hours ago the boat was finished, and here we are, arrived at Alexandra Palace. We're just doing the final bits and pieces, putting it all together to make sure everything works, and it's looking good and looking forward to the show.